Hello everyone, and welcome to your January 2019 Tarotscopes. Of course, I've missed December 2018, but it has been a very busy time, so I do apologize, and I hope you're enjoying catching up with what's going on with 2019. Now, do remember to check out my events calendar on my Carolyn Clairvoyant website. As you will find, I have quite an extensive year of travel around, and I'm going to be in lots of places all at once, so it would be wonderful to be able to catch up, do a one-on-one reading or a group booking. I thank you so much for your wonderful patronage over the years, and I look forward to connecting with you more and more as we move through 2019. Cosmic hugs, everybody. Hello Pisces, here we go. We're going to have a look at what January 2019 brings up for you. We've got a few cards that have already fallen out. There we go. One more shuffle. There we go. So we're just going to put these to one side, and we're going to have a look at what does January 2019 have for you. So here we go. We're going to look at the home and the family, where you are within yourself right now, your career goals and aspirations, or the things that are important to you, your finances, health and well-being, and of course your relationship areas. So here we are. So the first thing that you've got around you in connection with the home and the family, you've got the King of Cups sitting here, which tells you it's a very sympathetic, very empathetic time. A lot of understanding, a lot of communication, sharing of emotions being very important. Of course, we can tell that this is genuinely a male energy, so there could be a lot revolving around a male that's quite prevalent to yourself, and you might be finding yourself feeling quite sensitive by situations or quite emotionally affected by circumstance. And this person could be somebody who tends to have a very strong connection to you, as in a physical connection, such as a partner or as a child or something very similar. Or it can be that you are just finding yourself generating this wonderful energy around people, and you're feeling that they're truly getting where you're coming from. Of course, we can see October and November, so 2018, October and November 2018 might have been quite prevalent around this person or the situation, and it may be resurfacing around about the time of January 2019. So Spirit's just showing here that it's going to be a time in which you're going to be sharing your thoughts and your feelings a lot. You may be finding yourself feeling at times a little bit emotionally exposed. This could be a very strong time of trying to work out what is right for yourself and for others around you. Of course, we get down to your career goals and aspirations, and we have got the Magician. Now, the Magician actually shows here multitude of skills. Not only do you have, strength and knowledge, you have the ability to make money, you have all these wonderful ideas, you just continually are on this route of good positivity. But because it's skill set, it could mean that you're dealing with people who are in areas that are able to help you govern or move forward on some of the areas that you would like to expand upon. This is generally a real estate and an investment card, or talking with a specialist, or going into a specialist environment where all your skill sets would be required. So you may be finding that you're generating quite a lot of time and energy around dealing with people in professional areas or organizations and so forth in order to get that support. Now, this should be quite a good time for you, and very, very good for any investment. So if you're looking at signing on the dotted line, agreeing to contracts, looking at new work transcripts, then this could be quite positive for you. And if you're employing anybody, of course, this is where you may be finding also that you're just kind of getting all different type of laborious energy around here, which could be quite productive. Your finances are the Nine of Swords. Now, the Nine of Swords generates time of not giving in to doubts. Now, you may have found, if you look back to September 2018, you might have been a little bit nervous about your financial situations. Perhaps this has had a lot to do with a male in your life, like I said, because the home and the family seems to be generating here, whether this is an expectation or whether there's been prevalent decisions needing to be made, or you're very doubtful about the support systems that you might have thought that you're going to walk into 2019 with. So Spirit is showing here that this is a time in which you can tidy up your financial areas. You can start to feel a little bit more comfortable and feel as though you are actually accomplishing that which you're setting out to achieve. This should be very, very good, especially if you've been relying on other people for an income, or you've been self-reliant for a period of time. You should be starting to find yourself coming out of the woods in and around this period of time. So Spirit just shows here it's looking quite good. Now, of course, with your health and betterment, we have got the Knight of Wands sitting in here, and the Knight of Wands rules Sagittarius. So as you can see here, that it's going to be quite a mobile time, a lot of activity, travel plans, goals, all these wonderful things could be quite busy around you. And energetically, you're going to be feeling quite optimistic. Remember, I said you're not going to have those same doubts, even though you might be finding there's times that you're quite emotionally feeling quite vulnerable, but it should be quite good for you because you're able to look at your skill set and look at your opportunities around you to make change. So there could be quite a lot of planning going on, and you may be finding yourself in this period of time of needing to look outside that window or that opportunity in which there has been a lot of change around. So this is you being prepared. Now, of course, Saggy rules the 9th house, which is the higher education and learning. It's all of such as universities and institutions and so forth. But it also rules the liver, it also rules the sciatica, and it also rules in and around the hips and the thighs. So because it's a mobility card, it means that you may be finding yourself more mobile. You're looking at ways in which you can be more proactive, but you're doing this from a different perspective. There's a purpose behind this, and maybe this has come through great advice or great skill sets that's helping you. Maybe you're giving direction to somebody else, but either way, Spirit's saying just keep it light and energetic. See a sense of humor in this, okay? And you might be finding that you're really accommodating for better health or betterment in the future. Maybe you're taking care of somebody else who's needing better health or betterment. But either way, it shows here quite a lot of movement sitting around here and quite an optimistic time. Now, your relationships, of course, we've got the Queen of Wands sitting here, and the Queen of Wands is all about managing. It's about being in control. It's about creativity. It's about family. It's about the aspects of what you're passionate about. And because she often rules our creative hobbies and things that we're feeling quite generous about. So you may be finding yourself dealing with a very typical fire sign female. You may be finding yourself going through the processes of saying, hey, I need to manage my time a little bit better. I'm really great at being, great at organizing everyone else. Maybe I need to be a little bit more generous with time with my own self. Now, of course, if you're looking for a relationship and this starts to represent a person, then remember I talked about those emotional fronts that are going on. Perhaps you might be worried or concerned about this particular person, and Spirit says that's because you're feeling a little bit vulnerable at the moment. So a female could become very prevalent when you're kind of doubting whether they've got the right skill set or support, or whether this is going to be a good transition for them, whether there's going to be positive changes sitting around that can also be supportive. And Spirit's showing here, of course, you can manage this. If you need to make a change, you can manage this. But it comes down to you also seeing this as a bigger purpose, not giving in to doubts, because you're highly sensitive at the moment, and perhaps you're needing to kind of tidy up a bit of that emotional being and bring things back into perspective. But all in all, it's looking pretty good. So this is your emotional sensitivities. Don't give in to doubt. You've got everything that you need. You're initiating those changes. And, this is about you functioning and staying in a better position. But you may be finding yourself just a little bit questioning at the moment. So you've got the 10 of Swords sitting here. You have the King of Swords sitting here in reverse. You have the High Priestess, and you have the World. Now, the High Priestess always represents health and betterment, and also spiritual alignment, mediation, secrets, things that you've been trying or secretly trying to put into place and that you've been highly focused on. But you may have kept things very close to your chest, and then all of a sudden you're just going to start to see that things are starting to manifest. And Spirit's saying here, don't be too hypercritical or hard on yourself, because you're going to need to mend a few bridges here. You're going to need to look after yourself. You're going to understand that what was once not shown to you may be becoming a little bit more prevalent, and perhaps this is a time for you to see things in a whole different perspective, a whole new way. So you're feeling a little bit sensitive at the moment. You're not too sure what's going on. You know that you've got all this right advice, you've got these wonderful plans and goals, but you're still doubting whether or not your focus is on the right path. And this is trips and travel. Now, there could be trips that have been taken because of betterment and well-being, supporting somebody else. It could be that this is a trip that you've secretly wanted to take for some time but haven't been able to, and maybe you're not telling everybody at the moment what's really going on because you just want to keep things close to your chest. And of course, January and February and March are all about this, especially with the High Priestess, because she's all about betterment, making sure that this is going to be for the betterment of all involved. And you may be finding, because you don't know exactly what's happening, maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and have a few more discussions about this. But because we have a wonderful generosity time, remember Leo rules children as well, so this has a lot to do with family and siblings and plans and goals and endeavors. So you may be finding yourself kind of mediating things out so that you can focus more solidly on the changes that are going to be coming through in 2019, so that you can better manage. And what Spirit's showing here is that you're going to go through a sense of restlessness. You're probably used to having things done in a certain way. You're probably used to having a certain support system sitting around you, and then all of a sudden you're saying, well, hang on a minute, there's a change here, and that change is making me a little bit nervous. It makes me wonder where I'm going to be in the future. If it's all about doing it for the better of others, what about me? Where do I fit in this? And Spirit says, well, you're going to cope, you will manage. You're used to taking the reins and coping regardless. Even though Pisceans can be a little bit all over the place, I tell you what, the strongest is always the weakest. When they're needed, they are definitely there, and they take control very nicely. So Spirit shows here, don't give in to doubts, okay, about situations, what you don't know about. Just stay focused. This is about talking, communicating, doing what's best, looking after your own betterment and well-being, looking after the betterment and well-being of others. Life's taking on a new direction, but you've got the right people and the right advice sitting here. This is where these emotions and these sensitivities are going to be coming up, and this is where you're going to be finding yourself getting the right advice, seeing the right surgeons, or seeing the right people in the environments that are being able to give you the information that you need. And if you're working in the healing fields already as a carer or as a practitioner or alternative therapies, this is all going to be very, very good. But Spirit says, don't give in to doubts. There's enough there. Don't worry. Everything will focus and it will come together for you financially. But this is time to take a trip. It's time to get outside your comfort zones. It's time to look at things in a whole new different perspective. And by doing this, you may be finding yourself managing a lot better. So this year is opening up in the time of January about you being a little bit more compassionate and empathetic about what you need, but also from the sidelines of what you've been supporting in connection with other people. And maybe this is a time to kind of bring that out onto the table now, to talk about things, mend a few bridges here, get a few answers, and by doing that, you'll start finding that things start to really take a bit of a change. And perhaps there's somebody that's about to declare something that is quite significant or important, and it may need to be dealt with, and that's why we've got a lot of specialty areas sitting here. So it could be like, if it's an organisation, they could be melding with another organisation, but you've heard background chatter, and then all of a sudden you're starting to see, oh no, it really is happening. If it's to do with someone's health and betterment, it could be about somebody needing care at the moment, somebody needing to look after themselves a little bit more. And if it's you, then it's about you being able to manage this as well. So I hope this has helped, and I thank you so much for your beautiful connection throughout January 2019.